our lovely daughter, Jamie. Can you see the similarity? Yeah, we had kind of a strained relationship for a number of years. And we just loved her handsome, wonderful husband, and we were just happy to be in any kind of a relationship with them, and just trusted that God was going to bring healing. And you know, God's good at suddenlies. He suddenly did.
Yeah.
And you want to share what that is from your perspective, sweetheart?
Okay, so as Mom said, I haven't thought about giving this in a while. So, growing up, I mean, you all know her health problems and everything that had happened. And I was 3 years old when all that happened. And so throughout my life, like, I remember as a kid being close, but then it just kind of got, like, we got further and further and further apart. And to the point where, probably I want to say high school on, I really didn't want her to touch me. Or really, like, I just, every time, like, Mom or Dad would hug me, it was kind of like I would let it happen, but I was like, ugh, like, all my insides just wanted to crawl away. And I know there were times where, like, even my siblings, like, or I would, like, just wipe it off. Like, oh, I just don't want, like, I just didn't want that. And I knew that wasn't right, but I didn't really dwell too much on it. And then we've always just, there was just always something, and I never understood why, because I have so many friends that love my parents, and I could see from an outside that they were wonderful and great, but I didn't feel it on the inside. And it wasn't until, I thought I was just going to go to the last conference to support my husband. And it's kind of funny how God is like, no, I want you here. So the first night where Mom's giving her testimony, she started sharing some things that, one, she's never really shared before, and then two, I felt like the Holy Spirit said, you need to listen to this. And I've heard Mom's testimony before, but I've kind of just kept it at a distance because it's very obviously there's a lot of pain involved in that. So I just felt like the Holy Spirit said, just listen. So I did, and I cried a little bit, and then, but it wasn't until we got in the car and my husband turned to me and he was like, wow, I had no idea. I'm really sorry, like, that happened to you. And I just started sobbing and sobbing. And I was like, it was so hard. And I started crying, and then I call her, and it's like January, I'm driving through a snowstorm, and I'm like, don't start talking to me yet, because I can't drive and cry at the same time. And then
it really was that whole week.
Yeah,
it snowed.
It snowed the whole week. It was, yeah. But so just throughout the whole week, the Lord it was such a long. There's a lot that happened. But essentially, the Lord started...
Mother Love, Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah, Sunday morning. So basically, Sunday morning, I woke up, and this was the week-long conference, not the 6-week thing. I woke up, and it was one of those mornings. I have 3 kids, 4.5 and under, so my mornings are very, very busy, as any parents in here can imagine. And everybody woke up early, and I was just like, I just had that like irritation of like, and I was at my kitchen sink, and I just remember crying out to the Lord saying, I just can't do this anymore. And that's when I just I'll start crying again. I fell on the floor and just started sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and then wailing and sobbing, to the point where it started scaring my 2-year-old. And he's like, what's happening to Mommy? And then my husband wakes up and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, just like this big mess. And I can't remember all the details, but within that, it was the Lord was just bringing me to a place. I mean, it was like this deep emotional healing that was happening, and I just couldn't stop crying. And all I could think of in my head was, because my husband was like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to hold you? Do you want me to leave you alone? And I was like, I just want my Mommy. And I can't remember the last time I ever said that. Well, I can remember now, but prior to January, I can't remember the last time I had wanted her as a daughter once, to just my mom to hold me, and so it was just this emotional and just like this physical need I wanted, and the Lord gave me this beautiful picture of me just like going to their house and crawling in bed. And my husband was like, well, why? It was mother and father's love. That day, why don't you wait and we can do mother and father's love? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this at church. I'm going to do this at home. So it was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I knew since they had been doing ministry the night before that she would still be in bed. And I just drove to their house, which is about 20 minutes away. And my dad was like, hello, and I was like, where's Mom? Hey, Jimmy, what's going on? And I was like, and I'm sure I just was like a mess. I was happy nobody pulled me over because I don't know if I could have formed a clear sentence. But Mom woke up, she's like, what's the matter? I was like, Mom. And I just got to lay in bed with her for probably 2 or 3 hours. And I was like sobbing things that I didn't even know I felt. Like what had happened was, when I was 3, so I couldn't form any really thoughts of I just had pure emotion of the situation. And as we had gotten older and she had gotten healed, she tried to talk to me about it, like, hey, I'm really sorry for what happened. I'm like, oh, it's totally fine, like no big deal. Because in my adult brain, I had said, oh, well, of course this makes sense. She had to leave for so much amount of time, and she couldn't be there, and I didn't know what happened. But so in my adult head, it just made complete sense what had happened. But in my spirit and in my being a little girl, it was fear, it was rejection, it was this just unlove. It was like, what did I do? Why did Mom leave? What happened? And in that, there's Dad trying to figure out what's happening to her. I have an older sister and then a baby brother. It was just kind of, there was nobody there for me, so it was kind of like I put on my strong face at 3 years old and said, I can do this all myself. And I put the walls up. Well, the Lord started crashing the walls down in January. And it was amazing because, when I was laying in bed with her, I was sobbing things like, it was so hard, why did you leave me? Things I never cognitively thought, but my spirit was just groaning and moaning and it was just this healing, and she just got to hold me and say that she was sorry. This is the ultimate mother's love, right? So the whole week, it was awesome. I would just go in the back room and she would just hold me, and it was like my whole body just ached for her to hold me and just to be with her. And it was like in that instance, the Lord just healed this relationship to where she can hug me and touch me, and we go out for dinner and we do all these things now in an instant. And I thought, oh, it might take a little while. I'm working through, because I had tried some things on my own to figure out how to make the relationship better, but it was this block, and what the block was this emotional healing, this wound, that door needed to close. So it's awesome, the power of God. It was, I had my allergies healed years ago when she, my family first got healed, and that was cool because I was on 2 shots a week, but nothing compared to, to just the power of how quickly the Lord just came in and just healed it. There's a lot of sobbing involved, yeah. Lots of crying, but so it was awesome. So I encourage you, if there's strained relationships that I had no idea. I really didn't. I didn't think that was an issue anymore because I thought we had dealt with it. So yeah, God.
Don't. 1, 2, 3.